Okay, in your bas relief design in the last class, you took your drawing that you did and you cut it out and you put it on your clay and then you traced it with a pencil or a pen until you can see it on the other side. Then you went in and you made it a little bit deeper. The goal for your drawing was to make the negative shapes just as interesting as the positive shapes and to create dominance or unity in the composition through having a dominant shape. You were going to make it more interesting by having a variety of sizes of shapes. So if you look at this, what is the dominant shape here?
Triangle.
Triangles, exactly. So the triangular shape is the dominant shape here. Then I asked you to go through and label it which layer it was going to be on, whether the top layer, the bottom layer, or the third layer. And no two layers could be next to each other because you're not going to have any lines in the composition. Instead, you're going to have different layers that differentiate the difference between the shapes. When you're doing this and when you're planning this, make sure that you don't think about positive and negative shapes as different from each other because they're both just as important, okay? So as deep as you're gonna go, and this is really important because if you go too deep, it's too late. You're not gonna be able to add clay back. The third layer is only gonna go down this far. The second layer is gonna go down this far. So you're never gonna go beyond halfway. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and start that. Could this be a 3? And this be a 2? Okay, let's make, so a 1 we're not going to touch. We're going to make this a 3. We're going to make this a 2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the 3, and I'm just going to lay in a tool like this. And very, very slowly and gradually, my objective is to make 3 layers that are completely parallel to the table. And the only direction that I have in my composition is parallel to the table and perpendicular to the table. So if I come in here and I go like this and I go real fast and I start digging like this, okay? I have many different layers and many different directions. And here it looks like a little ant, right? Can come in here and take his skateboard and slide down my hill. Okay? We don't want that. We don't want a skateboard park. We want 2 directions. Perpendicular, so nice, straight, even walls and nice, straight, even sides. And the only way to obtain that is to go very, 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 very slowly and straight across. Because when you start digging like this, you want to take your tool and just move straight along. If you start digging, you're most likely going to make ski jumps. Every ski jump, you're going to lose some points. Okay, so you can see this is getting kind of flat. I could even go in here and flatten it a little bit more, but I'm going to take the side like this and just cut it and go straight down and rip it in like this, making nice, sharp angles, okay, all the way through. Then this one, if this is a 3, this is the farthest I would ever cut, okay? So for the 2, I'm going to come in here and only go down this far. So there's not going to be any lines telling me where the different shapes are anymore. Instead, they're going to be on different layers, okay? So if this is a 2, the 3 is just a little bit deeper than a 2. Okay, see all these little booger things? You need to smooth them up, you need to get them out. This is not only teaching you how to decorate, but teaching you how to work with clay very slowly and methodically so that you get exactly what you want and you learn not to rush, you learn to get rid of boogers, you learn to see things so that they're very perfect. See how this kind of comes up like this? So that's ugly, right? So I might just take my thing and smush it down so it's nice and flat. I might even use my finger so it's nice and flat. Use the edges like this, come around so it's nice and flat. If it feels like it's digging and it's too soupy, you need to let it sit to become more leather hard. Okay? So in the end, you're gonna have, hand me the red one on top of it. Okay? If you look at this one, okay, so this is the goal. You're going in, these angles are completely straight up and down. Okay, this is straight. Even though you're going to implement patterns and textures on it, you still have only two directions, straight up and down, perpendicular to the table and parallel to the table. So you really want to try to get these nice, clean, crisp lines throughout the piece. If it's too wet, it's going to be too difficult to do. So you want to make sure that you just keep working, carving and cutting, and very slowly getting rid of the areas. Because if I come in here and I dig too deep, you can't add clay to it because it'll be too hard. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, thank you.